Hey there, this is Natalie, and welcome to another dive into interesting stories from Reddit. If you like this type of video, please subscribe to the channel for more, and consider taking a look at some of the other videos you can find here. This is a fairly new channel, and I really want to get it monetized. So anytime you spend listening to these wild Reddit stories really helps me out. Now, let's get started. Now here's another interesting story. This one is entitled, "Am I the Butthole for hating this guy that joined our D&D campaign late?" And it was originally posted by user Secrets Inside to r/am I the Butthole here. And this is a fully updated story with a conclusion. So OP begins, prefacing this by saying I am an autistic woman. The man who joined is an autistic man. My question stems from wanting an outside opinion on if I'm valid in my dislike, or if it is stemming from internal ableism towards autistic people. And if the latter is the case, I will need to have a sit down with myself and figure my shiz out. I'm in a D&D group with my husband, 2 other married couples, a married man and a single man, now with the addition of another single man. In total, 6 men, 3 women. Without the additional person, we'd already had 7 sessions and have built a specific vibe for our party, and while very chaotic, it was working. My issue begins when the new guy is introduced to our characters. This specific session, the other women couldn't make it, and so I was the only one. Everyone at the table knows I'm not very good with new people and can take a few meets to warm up to them. This new man introduced his character by yelling at us to stop while we're trekking through the woods, running over to my character, grappling or, in his words, hugging her and refusing to let her go. I made an off comment about how creepy that would be, that a random man would come up to a woman and grapple her in the woods and then not say anything else, which he then proceeded to reiterate that he was hugging her multiple times, which I then said that hugging makes it even creepier. I was uncomfortable, and DM could tell how weird it was making me feel since we've been friends for a long time, and so told me to do whatever would be your character's natural response in this situation. He reiterated that statement when I said I don't know if I want to do that, because that would definitely not go well for his new character. DM made it clear this new character was to be a party member. So I swung at him. I rolled low, so didn't actually hit, but the other men in the party were feeling protective and decided to escalate it. This new character was beaten to within an inch of his life. While the combat was going on, about 20 minutes, this character turned out to be a barbarian, so was super beefy. Everyone was giving the players tips on how to de-escalate the situation. Tips like let her go or surrender. Just say you're sorry. Explain that you're friendly and didn't mean to start a fight. Just a bit of side info, this new guy knew everyone but me. All the guys work together and know him, and I would say are very friendly/patient people, and we're doing this in a very calm way. Eventually he surrendered, and we went on with the session, but the entire night I just felt gross and creeped out. He made sure to say at every chance there was to speak throughout the real world night that his character was crying in a bush, even when combat was happening. It's making me not want to go to the next session because he will be there, and I can't tell if the reason for that is because of the situation or some unconscious bias about other autistic people that I need to locate in my mind and address. Or maybe it's a bit of both. I asked my husband what he thought, and he agreed that it was super creepy and he didn't feel comfortable having this guy around me or my character, and so was feeling a bit protective, both through his character and himself. He said he'll support me whatever my decision is, so no issues there. I just wanted a few other opinions before deciding how I feel about it all. Please help. Am I overreacting? TLDR, can't tell if I'm being ableist for disliking someone based on their character introduction to a D&D campaign or if my dislike is valid. Now, I'm not autistic myself, and I'm not really a big player of tabletop role-playing games either. But my ex-boyfriend was really into tabletop role-playing games and had been playing them since he was, a teenager. So he'd had a lot of experience with different groups, And he did tell me that it wasn't uncommon for somebody very creepy to kind of express that creepiness in a game with a group. I guess something about playing a character with other people instead of having to kind of converse normally as yourself makes certain people feel like they have free rein to say whatever they want or treat people however they want. And, you know, if they're not of the mindset that everybody should be enjoying the game and having fun, then it can cause a lot of problems in what is really a social activity. I personally think I would find this guy creepy, and I wouldn't be questioning whether that was some kind of ableism. Obviously not internalized ableism, because I'm not autistic. So in her case, I think it's more that the fact that she's autistic is making her overthink her own reaction to this guy and question whether she's doing something strange or something wrong, where somebody without the neurodivergence would just happily accept they don't like this guy, they don't like the way he comes across. And whether that's down to how his autism manifests itself socially or not, it really isn't ableist to dislike spending time with somebody who behaves in a creepy way. So I think she's definitely not the butthole. There are some relevant comments and then an update, so let's get on to those. Blueberry Girl 95 says, "Dude, you're autistic yourself and you presumably have manners. I don't care if it's because women are more easily taught how to mask or whatever. Dude needs to learn how to respect other people and their boundaries, and what you're describing ain't it." Cat 1832 says, "Not the butthole. I've had men thinking that grabbing, groping, etc. is okay in D&D simply because it's in a game. I've had to issue threats of in-game castration and told the DM in no uncertain terms that I refused to play with people who thought that was okay. The DM tried to sweep it under the rug, but then again, said DM turned out to be a neo-Nazi poophead as well, so I quit the table entirely. Set your boundaries, you and your husband, and preferably everyone else at the table. Make it clear that his conduct, the initial hugging and the pathetic attempt at guilt-tripping manipulation by saying he's crying in a bush, was unacceptable, and another incident will see him booted." I mean, yeah, I think it's kind of a situation where in some groups, if you all know each other well and know kind of what people are comfortable with, then you can play characters who do things that wouldn't be acceptable in real life because that's the nature of the character you're playing. But when you just first get introduced to another actual human player and the first thing you do is kind of act inappropriately towards their character by way of introduction, that's not something that somebody who was being considerate of fitting in with the group and having a good campaign together would do. So I think she's well within her rights to not be keen to continue playing with this man. And yeah, it probably can be negotiated through the DM if she speaks to him or her husband does, and they try to sort of find a way to diplomatically tell the guy what the boundaries and nature of the group is so that he can fit in with it better. But if he can't really be reasoned with like that, I mean, she has been in the group longer than he has. They'd already started the campaign. And so regardless of the fact that the other men in the group all know him and seem to be friendly towards him, it might just be that it would be better for him not to participate. Like I said, I'm not someone that really plays these kind of games myself. When I do, it's always with people I know really, really well anyway, because I'm not very experienced in them. And so, you know, I wouldn't really find it particularly fun or entertaining to join a group of very experienced players and, you know, get involved with that. But I have heard a lot about how these kind of situations can develop and how kind of political these kind of groups can get. So I think that her main way of sorting it out is going to be talking to the DM, you know, either herself or with her husband, and just trying to push for a diplomatic resolution, and if that's not possible, requesting that he's, you know, excluded from the campaign. There is an update from 24 days later which says, "Thought I would update since it's been a while since my post. Before the creepy guy was added to our campaign, DM asked my husband what he thought of inviting him, and my husband told him that he's a creep even at work, so why would they want him around their loved ones? DM said that he isn't that bad and invited him anyway, which led to this situation. After it happened, I talked to everyone, minus the DM, in the party, and they all agreed after thinking about it that it was incredibly creepy and uncomfortable. I talked to the DM about it after coming to the consensus I wasn't overreacting, and while he apologised, he said he would talk to him. He took his side and told me I should have said something, even though I did numerous times when it was happening. The week after the incident, barely anyone showed up, and the vibe was definitely strained. DM kept getting annoyed at people more than normal. A few people commented that his campaign feels like it's dying and started talking about new characters they would like to make, and DM said it wouldn't be a problem since his world is open world, so he could just fit a new party in if needed. By the end of the session, everyone left feeling kind of awkward and off. My husband and I had plans the next 2 weeks, and we let DM know. Apparently no one else showed up for those 2 weeks, and on the third week, DM sent a message to the group chat that he was calling the end of the campaign. DM's wife is now ignoring me, and I already have a complex about how few friends I have. I'm a housewife, so I'm overall feeling like I'm to blame for the whole situation. What's done is done, but I did enjoy having Friday D&D nights, even if now we've apparently burned the bridge with our game friends. Well, it's a shame it ended like that, but at the same time, it doesn't sound like the DM had a lot of control over what was going on in the group. And, if everybody was feeling uncomfortable, it could be that she's really just lost the DM and his wife as friends. And the rest of the players might be down for starting another campaign, that she can be involved with a different person taking that role. Still, I definitely don't think she was in the wrong and shouldn't blame herself for the fact that the campaign ended up dying. But what do you guys think? Are any of you seasoned D&D players? If so, have you ever encountered weird people joining your group like this? What happened? Let me know down in the comments. Now we have an interesting story all about a TikTok challenge. And it's entitled, "My friend tried to kiss my partner for a TikTok challenge, but I'm the bad guy." And this was originally posted on a throwaway account, user throwra-pandachange, in r/relationship advice, and it's a fully updated story with a conclusion. The original post begins, "One of my friends that I know ever since we were in high school, we're both 22 now, has started to take an interest in TikTok. She already has a big Instagram following, so she decided to try something new and participated in a few challenges. Our friend group was supportive of her decision, even though the opinions on TikTok as a whole vary from person to person, from liking the app through to being indifferent to disliking it with a passion. Well, now I think my friend has crossed a line that I'm not sure I can forgive. But just like the opinions on the app are different among our friend group, some of the girls are saying that she just participated in a challenge and I should chill out. This TikTok friend decided to kiss my boyfriend on camera as a kiss my friend and see their reaction challenge. She was always pretty close to my boyfriend, which I didn't mind since she's my friend, and I trust my boyfriend not to get shady with my friends. My partner told me about what she tried to do right away. He literally sprinted out of her house and called me. He didn't know then it was for a challenge, but even when he learned about it from her, because she was calling us both to clear up the misunderstanding, he wasn't happy about that, and I don't blame him. I wasn't either. We both decided that it's better to cut her out of our lives, even if it's for a little while to cool down, but my friend group is saying that while they can understand my boyfriend, they can't understand my reaction, and that I should be grateful that my TikTok friend showed me how loyal my partner is to me through this experience. They've been making me out to be the bad guy for the past few days because I'm abandoning them and breaking girls' code for a guy. I don't know. I feel like I didn't need her to test my boyfriend, first of all. Second of all, as a friend, she just shouldn't throw herself at my partner. And third of all, she shouldn't throw herself at anyone that she knows has a significant other. That's just scummy in my book, but apparently I'm in the minority with my opinion. I know my boundaries, so I guess I just turned to Reddit for some kind of confirmation, advice on what to do, not only with my TikTok friend, but also with the whole friend group. That's 6 years of history together. Part of me doesn't want to throw it away, but I'm just so disappointed and betrayed. Yeah, I don't think I would be happy in that situation either. Then I don't think I'd be that happy being friends with someone who wanted to be a TikTok influencer either. I keep it classy, YouTubers all the way. I can see the friends wanting to play it down and just be like, well, it was just for a TikTok challenge and nothing even happened because he wasn't having any of it. But the friend did still not only make a move on the boyfriend without his consent, just to presumably try and humiliate him in a TikTok video, but also, making any kind of physical move on a friend who's dating one of your other friends, or really anyone, is just one of those things that feels really scummy unless you're kissing them because you're both in a play together and you have to. There isn't really any excuse for trying to do that. Certainly not as a TikTok prank. Yeah, the friends don't really want there to be this drama going on and they probably would rather the OP kind of dropped it. But I can see why she really doesn't want to. And she is being quite sort of sensible about it. She's saying, maybe we cut her out for a while everything cools off. She's not saying, I will never speak to her again because of this one mistake. She's definitely not the butthole in this situation. I can see some people's perspective where you might think she's overreacting. I personally don't, but I can see why to some of her friends it might seem like she's making a big fuss out of something that was ultimately harmless. I think really it comes down to whether or not the friend is sorry and whether she's kind of realised that she needs to keep her TikTok challenges to things that aren't going to be stepping on the boundaries of the people she's close to. But maybe to have success on TikTok in that way, you kind of have to be the butthole. I don't really know. I'm a millennial. TikTok is just baffling to me. But still, we have some top comments on this one. First of all, user NCKC177 says, to echo what you've already said, she didn't do you a favour because you didn't need her to test your boyfriend's loyalty. I'd distance myself from any friends who tried to convince you that this was at all helpful or something you should be grateful for, along with the girl who pulled this stuff to begin with. A real friend wouldn't do this to you. And it's funny how they're bringing up testing his loyalty when she was the one actually betraying your trust, and his too. You're 1000% justified in removing this person from your life. You're not the bad guy here. She put internet clout before your friendship. Her fabulousness says, I didn't realise girl code allowed a girl to kiss her friend's taken man for views, likes, whatever it is they have on TikTok. You are in no way the bad guy. Nekawai19 says, forget all about girl code. Has this girl never heard of consent? I would be so angry if a friend just kissed me, whether I have a partner or not. And the update that came 2 days later says, first of all, I want to say that I'm really thankful for all the comments I received under my previous post. I was kind of scared of the reaction I would get from Reddit, thinking most people would agree with my friends on this matter. I guess they really got into my head a little, as the only support that I've had aside from my boyfriend. I've read through all of the comments and messages I've got, which helped me a lot with understanding what I need to do. Before dropping the news to my former friend group about me wanting to go no contact with them, I decided to talk with my boyfriend once again. A lot of you pointed out, rightfully, that my TikTok ex-friend literally assaulted him. I told my partner about my decision of cutting off the TikTok friend and anyone that's defending her, and assured him that I will stand by him when he decides what he personally wants to do with her. I showed him the post I've made because I wasn't sure if he even realised that he was the victim of an SA, since my country is still stuck in this backward thinking that men can't be taken advantage of. My partner told me that he needs some time to think about the steps he would like to take against my ex-friend, but first of all, he wants to make sure that she's not going to post the video that she took of them on her TikTok. Now to the fun part. I told my former friend group that I decided to no longer keep in touch with TikTok friend and anyone that's on her side. I also added that my boyfriend doesn't consent to releasing the TikTok she's taken with him. The TikTok friend quickly responded that him not giving her consent doesn't matter, since it's a video not taken for commercial purposes. Other friends chimed in that she doesn't need your consent to post a video of hers. We've started to argue, with me saying that this is illegal and them saying that nobody cares. So now, aside from updating y'all on what's happened since last time, I'm asking for a final advice. I guess not only for myself, but on my boyfriend's behalf. He already told me that if she does post the TikTok, he will deal with her, even if it means taking her to court over it, which I completely support. But our question is, would it be very petty if we will post my original story to our social media accounts while tagging my ex-friends? We do realise that it's pretty childish, but at this point we're thinking about taking our own little revenge on them, since consent has no importance to them apparently. Would it be worth it though? In the relevant comments, Firefly232 says, would it be very petty if we post my original story on our social media accounts while tagging my ex-friends? I would advise against it. Just keep an eye on her TikTok, and if she posts the video, go to TikTok directly and ask for it to be taken down. OP says, yeah, I guess our emotions are still running high. Thank you. IceGoose007 says, oof, this is a tough one. First of all, props to you and your partner for being brave enough to cut them off and discuss what happened. I wouldn't personally recommend posting on social media, especially if you explicitly name them, mainly due to you and your partner considering taking legal action if they post the video. It could have ramifications on you guys. I would gather all the evidence of what happened, get a solid timeline in order, and keep supporting your partner. Good luck to you both. Also, there are lots of resources online for men who are the victims of assault if he needs assistance. And OP says, you're probably right about the possible repercussions. Thank you. Now, I don't think that posting on social media in this instance would be a good idea. And that's because, unless she's a huge TikToker, if she posts this TikTok with the boyfriend, then, it's probably not going to do amazingly well anyway in the time that it would take for you to get TikTok to take it down. However, if there's other stuff floating around on social media that's drawing attention to her TikTok or Instagram or anything else like that, that could cause a kind of Streisand effect where lots more people who wouldn't ordinarily have seen her TikTok with the boyfriend are going to see it. Now, presumably, the reason he doesn't want it to be posted online is because he doesn't want people to see it. She is taking advantage of a friend for clicks and views, and he is the friend. It would be very embarrassing to have something like that put online about you, even if you didn't really care that much about the fact that she'd, kissed you. So really, anything that's going to draw more attention to it is not going to be a good thing. I'm sure I'm probably not the only YouTuber that's read this story out, and at the moment, nobody cares enough to kind of try and find who any of these people are. Normally when people watch these kinds of Reddit story videos, they just want to hear the interesting story and that's about it. They're not really going to try and find out who anybody involved was. But once you know that there is stuff like that out there, if you're curious about the story, you probably are going to go and have a look. And then you're going to find that person's socials, and that's all it takes really for something to start going viral. I really just think, get it taken down from TikTok if she does post it. And if you need to do something petty by way of revenge, come up with something that isn't going to potentially lead to her TikTok video blowing up. But that's just my opinion. And I slap the camera out of people's hands if they come anywhere near me trying to film something, because I'm very, very camera shy. So somebody posting a TikTok that had me in it and it blowing up would be one of my worst nightmares. And I'm a content creator. So for an ordinary guy, I think, yeah, this is just don't invite any attention to it. Have you ever had a situation like this? Do you know anybody who would put clout and clicks above their friendships? Let me know down in the comments. That's all for this video, but look out for more coming very soon. Have a great rest of your day or evening out there, and I'll see you next time.